guys, Megan Benanti here. Thanks for joining me on Rise and Shine, where we look at your soul's evolution. And that's what the goal is to help you along this journey with any bits of wisdom that we can find along the way. Okay, so I've got our 3 charms for today. And let's see. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we have a star, and this star has little dots all around it, so it's almost a little bit sparkly. So that might be for you. We also have a teacup. So for those of you that think of tea and calming, or your tea lovers, or perhaps it could be coffee. I can't discount that. Maybe it's a coffee cup. And then we also have a robot. So a little toy robot. And so you're going to choose one of those charms, and then this reading will apply for you today. And today's question is, how can I create more balance in my life? And that's something we're always striving for. Somebody came up with a beautiful term, work-life balance. And I'm like, oh my God, did that screw us up or what? Like, nobody has work-life balance. In the history of mankind, it's never existed. I mean, think about the Industrial Revolution. And, you know, for centuries, people slaved in the field all day. And then they came in and they made dinner and they milked the cow. And, you know, I mean, it's all work is work. So, but we do want to have some sense of balance and harmony in our lives. And so this reading is going to help you kind of navigate that, at least with some realistic expectations, and part of it's going to be where you need to cut, because it might not be that it's actually work that you can cut. So let's just take a look at what the cards say, and we'll see what we've got for you. So I'm going to read for our star people first, and let's go from there. Okay, so star people. Oh, interesting. Okay, so your time, the first thing I wanted to know is, where is it going? And I feel like you need to have focus on learning some new skills right now. For some of you, it might also be that you're needing to have it on the children and it's not really there. But I do feel like this is a turning point for you in your life with this little sparkly star, that it's time to learn something new so that you can grow and take on a new challenge. But you're almost like, oh my God, I don't know how to begin with this or what to do with that. And this also taps into your creative energy a little bit. So if you're thinking about going into a more creative field, then maybe there's some learning that you've got to do so that you really feel like you can take a launch with that. Now, I also wanted to see where your mental energy is. And it's all around money, 9 of Pentacles. So, you know, part of that is you're worried about paying bills. You're worried about the future, where you're headed with this. You know, can you long-term make money with this? And I'm sorry, the first card was Page of Wands. So, you know, and that's something to think about. I always say money follows passion. Now, granted, you got to have some good common sense in there, but, you know, your 20s are really about struggle, and you don't make the money in your 20s typically that you dream of making. Now, some people do, but part of the reason that it's so amazing is because it is far and in between. So your 20s really have a lot of hard work. Now, if you're in your 30s and 40s, then you're a little more into 30s, you're definitely more into your craft and what you want to focus on. So, you know, what I'm seeing for you is that, you know, your mental energy is getting worried about, like, is it going to be enough? Am I going to end up where I want to end up? And, you know, part of this is you don't know if you don't try. And, you know, if you've ever watched How I Did This with Guy Raz on podcast channels, you know, he interviews everyone, and you realize how much failure people have before they have success. It is trying over and over and over again. So as I look at this, I feel like for you, you're going to have to take a leap of faith if you really want to make this happen for yourself. And trust yourself enough to do that. And if it doesn't feel comfortable enough, think about, where can I tweak this? Or if I'm really too afraid to do this, how can I still improve my life? How can I still make some changes that I can grow again financially in, so that I have a little bit more balance? You know, I would also say, looking at this, if you're working 2 jobs, this is saying, focus on one that you can really grow in. Don't spread yourself so thin. I know I worked up to like 3 jobs at once. I think I might have worked 4 jobs at one time. So like I just did a lot of different things to keep myself from getting bored, but really none of them were making very much money. All right, now what do you need to sacrifice so that you can improve more balance for yourself? And this is interesting. You've got Ace of Cups in reverse. And so there's something that you really love or are dreaming of here that you might need to let go of. You know, and this is something you're emotionally connected to. It doesn't mean it's an idea. It doesn't mean it's fully developed. It doesn't mean that you have to give up maybe your career dreams. But there is something that you need to let go of to create more balance in your life. That might be ideas of perfection or having it all by, you know, a particular age. And maybe what having it all actually means. You know, for me, that would look more like being happy than being wealthy. So I want you to kind of consider what that means for you in your life. Okay, now how can you best also create a boundary for yourself to help you kind of move forward with this? Because we do need to set some boundaries in place and some permanent ones so that we can continue to move towards balance. And it's interesting. So we have 4 of Cups, and this is such a telling card because this is that one where in tradition, God is like handing the cup and the guy is sort of sitting there like, do I have to deal with this? And, you know, so to me, it's dealing with those opportunities and those things that like, really, God, is this what I have to do right now? So, you know, there is a call that maybe you're setting some limits on the amount of grunt work that is outside of what you really want to focus on to create balance. That might be, you know, when they ask you to work an extra shift. That might be your parents asking you to help out and finally having to draw the line and say, look, I really, you know, I love you guys and I respect you and I can help you out this day, this week, but I can't do it next week. You know, I've got to start, or you could say, I can't do it this week, but I'll do it next week. But it's not going to be for 7 hours. It'll be for 4 hours, you know. And so start drawing some boundaries and lines in the sand for yourself so that you can begin to grow. And I feel like when you look at boundaries for yourself, you're like, oh, like it's almost frightening for you. And, you know, maybe your expectations are really so high for yourself, it creates a lot of anxiety. And that in and of itself is throwing you out of balance. So I just want you to think about what stability looks like. That's not being uber wealthy, it's being stable, it's feeling safe. And that's one of the things that's coming up with this particular image for me with the columns and this beautiful lattice work that's in the top. You know, don't let yourself get overwhelmed. Just think about what is stable and safe and kind of work from there. Okay, so I hope that helped you guys out. Let us take a look at our cup, people. That is either a teacup or a coffee cup. I had recently given up coffee, so my brain went to tea, but boy, do I miss coffee. There is nothing like having your coffee. And I'm pretty excited. I found some low acidity coffee, so it's alkaline. It's more alkaline based because I'm trying to balance out my body. So, so that's a good thing. All right, so coffee cup people. Nothing like starting the day with a cup of joe or hot tea. So let's see what we have for you guys. Ooh. Okay. Wow. Okay, so interesting here. You've got 3 major arcana, so you're definitely going through some pivotal shifting with this, and you're working towards creating more balance in your life already. I can see that. So your time is going, interesting. We have judgment, and literally, if you can see it, there is a clock right here. So, you know, you're looking at the big picture, and I feel like you're growing. You're looking towards long-term stuff. You're seeing how some of your decisions and your goals are affecting other people. you're trying to communicate clearly. So it might be feeling a little out of balance for you, but I definitely feel like you are on your divine life path with this growth right now. And so, you're focused on the long term and where you're headed. So this is really, really good. It just might be a little right now. Now, where's your mental energy going? For some of you, if you're female, you're focused on emotional fulfillment. And, but you're also in many ways living it's still a man's world. We tap into that masculine energy, and are to be productive in business and that kind of thing. So much of the time. So, because it's that go, go, go energy. I got to get this done and that done. So I feel like, a lot of your mental energy is actually going into your femininity, and your feminine side. So, making sure that you're confident, that you're capable, that you're nurturing yourself, that you're taking care of yourself. If you're a man, though, you might also be putting some energy into a female that you are really focused on right now. But I don't feel that is a distraction for you. That actually seems pretty good, because it's feeling like she's very much in alignment for you as your partner at this time. So I love this. Okay. So what do you need to sacrifice to improve balance? Fabulous. You got strength. Actually, you don't need to sacrifice. You are doubling down and you are getting stronger. You're building up more stability and mental clarity for yourself. But when I think of strength too, it's actually, to me, there is a sense of like, what is the balance of strength? Well, relaxation, recovery. So, for you, maybe taking vacations is going to be part of that. Hitting the gym is going to be part of that. And focusing on, your mental and physical well-being, being really, really powerful here. So think about what looks like restoration for you, because I feel like you're kind of on track with what you need to do for yourself. Okay, and then finally, how can you best create a permanent boundary for yourself? And I got the world in reverse. Trying to get that out of the light. And it is a little, pardon me, blasted out here, so it's a little hard to see. Just know that you don't have to do everything at once. That for you, things are going to begin continually come together and sometimes continually disassemble themselves. And I feel like this is sort of telling you to flow with the energy of the universe. And don't put so much pressure on yourself that you've always got to level up. And I think that's kind of where your boundary is coming in, is you're always pushing to the next level and you're achieving that. So what happens when you don't achieve that? Or what happens if you run out of levels? And, to me, what I'm seeing here is don't ever put that boundary on yourself. You will always be pushing yourself to the next limit, and it's redefining what those limits are. And if you reach a limit in one field, then you're going to be exploring in another. Don't be afraid of that. That's part of your nature to explore. But definitely, I feel like you coffee cup, teacup people definitely know how to fill your cup up and that you're in really good shape. So, awesome. All right, now let us look at our robot people and we'll see what we've got for you guys. So I hope you guys did okay in that full moon on Monday night. Whew, that was a doozy. I believe it was a full moon in Scorpio, I'm not sure, but it definitely had a lot of intense energy. And I was feeling it, and I was even having people reach out that I was like, what? But everybody that I knew was being impacted for sure. Okay, so robot people, let's see what we've got for you. Okay, interesting. Your numbers right off the bat, we've got 6, 7, and 8. So, you're sort of collected together in this upper mid cycle, which is just kind of interesting. So your time, Where's it going? It's kind of full speed, but this can also be a little bit all over the place. Now for me, chariot energy, typically you're on a path, you're moving forward, it's fast, and you're just like trying to keep up with the pace of things. For some of you though, I do have some scattered feathers in here and stuff. So it might be that you're focused a lot of the time, but then you're also sort of wasting energy and letting yourself get distracted. And maybe that's, Instagram, maybe that's other trivial things that people are having you do. And I just want you to be kind of aware of that to pull that energy in. It's like, okay, no, I'm not going to look at my phone until lunchtime, or, and sort of schedule that time in there, just when you can focus on that. Now, where's your mental energy going? This is really interesting. So we've got Six of Swords. So you're moving into a better place. Mentally, you're healing right now. And so obviously you've had some struggle, and that was hugely overbearing in your life. And I feel like from an emotional level, you've been hit here like 3 times with these big, massive moons. And so there was a lot you kind of needed to work past, and now you're beginning to do that, and you're moving forward, and it is going to begin to smooth out so that that path will be a little easier for you to go on with that chariot energy. So trust your intuition on the direction you're going, and anything that you've put into place, I feel like is helping you on this path. So continue on with that particular behavior or pattern or routine that you're doing. And we think about a robot, that's being on autopilot. It's, we think of them as being smart sometimes, but disassociating from their emotions. And, so I feel like for you, maybe part of this is you had to work through some emotional stuff for a while, but now you are moving beyond it. Okay. Now, what do you need to sacrifice to improve balance in your life? And that's interesting. So we got Page of Pentacles in reverse. And I gotta say, the first thing that came up is get out of your own way. We think about this, it's that childlike energy of like, oh, I don't deserve this, or why am I stuck with dealing with this? It's a little bit of that. It's also, the feeling sometimes that you don't know enough, or you're not doing enough, or for whatever reason that you are not enough. And I've got to say that is not the case, and it is not serving you right now. So again, get out of your own way. You've got this. You are capable. You do know what you need to know. And even if you don't, that's how we learn. We all start with baby steps. And, even if we're in a profession for a long time, there's still new things we've got to learn along the way. And it just comes up and it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing now. I can do this. Okay, now how can you best create a permanent boundary for yourself? And interesting, we have 8 of Pentacles. And usually, the wands, I said Pentacles, 8 of Wands. Usually all the wands go in the same direction. This one, they're in a spray, like a shield. And so to me, it is creating some protection. It is honoring those boundaries that you need to set in place. And, this is communicating clearly. I think for me though, as I look at this, it's also clearly stating what you're comfortable doing and what you're not comfortable doing. So if somebody is asking you to compromise yourself to do something you really don't want to be doing, this is saying something about that. And speaking your truth, and kind of not necessarily or not typically standing your ground, but I feel like you are putting a barrier here for a little bit more of self-protection. Now, sometimes we're in jobs where we have to clean the bathroom, or we have to do things we don't want to do, take out the trash. And granted, those aren't fun jobs, but sometimes they are part of our role description. So I think, as I look at this, it's picking and choosing and really deciding what's truly okay and not okay for you, because I want you to feel safe. And that's what's coming up for me with this boundary, is that you feel actually safe while you're doing this. So, if it's taking the trash out in a dark alley at night and that's freaking you out, I think that's a valid thing to consider. So, but I also feel like, generally you're moving forward, and you are in a very good place with this. So trust yourself and be confident with where you're headed at this time, because I do think you're working towards more balance of what's really right for you. So, all right, everyone. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And I will see you guys again next week. Oh, and please subscribe and give me any comments below. And if you haven't seen it yet, I had the joy of being on Don't Call Me Pretty on YouTube and on all your podcast channels, where I did an interview and with Nicola Ivy, and it was really great and really fun. So please also check that out. All right, take care for now. Thanks. Bye-bye.